I want you to do something strange. For the next few seconds, stop trying to learn English. Seriously, stop. Because the harder most people try to learn English, the slower they improve. Sounds crazy, right? But think about it. How many times have you watched a motivational video, felt excited, created a perfect study plan, and then quit a few days later? Maybe you've done it once, maybe 10 times, maybe more. The problem is not that you don't know what to do. You already know. Listen more, read more, practice more, speak more. You know all of that. The real problem is something much more dangerous. You are addicted to starting, not continuing. You love new plans, new notebooks, new apps, new goals, new promises, because starting feels exciting. But discipline begins when excitement ends. And that's exactly why most people never become fluent. They keep restarting again and again and again, while someone else studies for just 10 minutes a day and quietly becomes fluent. So in this episode, I'm not going to give you another motivational speech. I'm not going to tell you to work harder, and I'm definitely not going to tell you to wake up at 5 a.m. Instead, I'm going to show you why discipline feels so difficult, why your brain keeps pulling you away from English, and how some learners make progress even when they don't feel motivated at all. Because the truth is, the people who succeed in English are not always the smartest, they're not always the most talented, and they're definitely not the most motivated. They just understand something that most learners never do. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you a secret. Your brain does not care about your goals. It cares about comfort. That's why learning English feels easy on Monday and difficult on Thursday. Not because English changed, not because you became lazy, but because your brain is constantly asking one question: can I save energy? And every time you open YouTube, scroll through social media, or tell yourself, I'll study tomorrow, your brain thinks it has found an easier option. The scary part? It doesn't happen once. It happens hundreds of times every day. Tiny decisions, tiny excuses, tiny delays. And over time, those tiny choices create a huge gap. A gap between the person you are today and the person you want to become. Now, here's where most learners make a mistake. They think discipline means forcing yourself to study. It doesn't. Real discipline means making the right choice before the battle even begins. Think about it. Why do some people go to the gym every morning? Do they wake up excited every day? Of course not. Why do some people read every day? Do they suddenly feel inspired every night? Not really. The difference is simple. They stopped negotiating with themselves. They removed the daily argument. They removed the question, should I do it today? Because once that question appears, your brain becomes a lawyer. And trust me, your brain is very good at making excuses. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. I need a better plan. I'll study after dinner. I'll study next week. Sound familiar? The problem is not the excuse itself. The problem is that every excuse feels reasonable. That's why discipline is not about being strong, it's about being automatic. The most successful English learners don't wake up and decide to study every day. They already decided months ago. Now they're simply following the system. And that's the word most people ignore. System. Because goals can motivate you, but systems change your life. A goal says, I want to become fluent. A system says, I listen to English for 15 minutes every morning. A goal says, I want to speak confidently. A system says, I speak English for 5 minutes every evening. See the difference? One lives in the future, the other lives today, and only one of them creates results. Let me give you an example. Imagine two students. The first student studies English for 3 hours on Saturday. He's excited, motivated, ready to change his life. Then, nothing on Sunday, nothing on Monday, nothing on Tuesday. By Wednesday, he feels guilty. By Thursday, he starts looking for a new study plan. And by next week, he's watching another motivational video. Now, look at the second student. 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes on Saturday, 10 minutes on Sunday, 10 minutes on Monday, 10 minutes on Tuesday. Not impressive, not exciting. Nobody would post it on social media. But after 6 months, guess who speaks better English? The second student, every single time. Because consistency beats intensity, always. And here's something even more interesting. The biggest enemy of discipline is not failure, it's perfection. Most learners secretly believe, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. So they skip 1 day, then 2 days, then a week, then a month. Not because they failed, because they expected perfection. But real progress is messy. Some days you'll feel focused, some days you'll feel tired, some days you'll learn 10 new words, some days you'll learn nothing, and that's normal. The people who become fluent understand this. They stop asking, did I have a perfect study session? And start asking, did I show up today? Because showing up changes everything. Think about it. A bad workout is better than no workout. A short walk is better than no walk. And 5 minutes of English is infinitely better than 0. The goal is not to win every day. The goal is to never disappear. Because every time you disappear, you make restarting harder. And every time you show up, you strengthen the habit, little by little, day by day, without even noticing it. One day you wake up and something feels different. You understand more. You translate less. You speak faster. Not because of one magical lesson, not because of one perfect plan, but because you kept showing up when nobody was watching.
And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding about discipline. People think discipline is about forcing yourself. It's not. Discipline is about becoming the kind of person who does things without constantly making emotional decisions. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning and ask yourself, should I brush my teeth today? You just do it. Imagine if English became like that. No debate, no motivation, no negotiation, just part of your day. That's when everything changes. Because the truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. And habits are built through repetition, not emotion, not inspiration, repetition. The strange thing is that most people underestimate what 1 year can do. They overestimate what they can do in 1 week and underestimate what they can do in 1 year. 1 year of daily English listening, 1 year of reading, 1 year of speaking, 1 year of showing up. Your life could look completely different, yet most people never reach that point. Why? Because they're always starting over. January, new plan. February, new app. March, new notebook. April, new strategy. Same person, same results. Discipline begins the moment you stop searching for the perfect method and start trusting simple actions repeated over time. So if you're listening right now, don't promise yourself that you'll study 5 hours tomorrow. Don't promise yourself that this will be your best year ever. Don't make a dramatic speech. Just choose one small action. 1. Maybe 10 minutes of listening. Maybe reading 1 page. Maybe learning 5 new words. That's enough. Because discipline doesn't start with a huge decision. It starts with a small promise that you actually keep. And every time you keep that promise, you start trusting yourself again. And honestly, that might be the most important part of all. Not learning English, not becoming fluent, but becoming the kind of person who believes their own word. Because once you have that, learning English becomes much easier, and so does everything else.
Before we finish, I want you to remember one sentence. The future version of you is created by the things you repeat. not the things you dream about, not the things you plan, not the things you talk about, the things you repeat. So tomorrow, when you don't feel motivated, good. When you feel tired, good. When you don't feel like studying, good. Because that's the moment discipline finally gets a chance to grow. Anyone can study when they feel inspired. The real transformation happens when you show up anyway. One day, one lesson, one page, one conversation at a time. This is how fluency is built. This is how confidence is built. And this is how discipline is built. Not in one big moment, but in thousands of small moments nobody sees. This is English Blueprint. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.